Mr. Sideways one. Oh, there it is.
What time we got?
5:29.
There you go. You should
Can
be
you
there.
hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I got 5:30.
Okay, it's 5:30. We're gonna call the meeting to order and introduce those that are present. Steve Barrett, Gary Waterman, Rick Gosselin, your select board. Do I need to introduce everyone there? They pretty much can see each other and know who's who. Okay. I'm gonna have Rick read the ground rules and then we'll proceed.
Okay, be positive and respectful of others. Be on time to the meetings and breaks. Cell phone reminder turn to silent or take it outside. Be quiet when others are speaking. Raise hand if you want to speak. Stay on track when the topic is being talked about. Come prepared, don't discuss personal issues. No fighting or arguing. The chairperson is in charge. If you have questions, it's okay to ask the facilitator for help. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I'd like to approve the minutes of the 4-1 meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of 4-1.
I'll second that.
Any admissions or additions or anything we need to do?
I didn't see any.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Minutes have been approved. Appearances by local citizens and visitors. Barry is going to be on. Does anyone else want to speak first? Okay, Barry, it's yours. Ground rules, open meeting laws, discussion.
Okay, yes. Can you hear me okay, everybody?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to read some constitutional rights that have been violated many times over, and I have an issue about that, and I want to talk about it today. First of all, VSA 314. Hold it. In enacting this subchapter, the legislature finds and declares that public commissions, boards, and councils and other public agencies in this state exist to aid in the conduct of the people's business and are accountable to them pursuant to Chapter 1, Article 6 of the Vermont Constitution. That means it is an open meeting law as well as on Chapter 1, Article 6 of the Vermont Constitution. You are to be accountable to us at all times, which means you must answer questions, especially when it's about business. I've had a lot of problems with that, and I have to talk about it. And another thing about your ground rules and being respectful to other people. One of them answering is I have a couple of questions I want to ask Steve, and I expect you to answer them, Steve. During 2019 and 20, during numerous select board meetings, Bob Best laughed and shook his head and ridiculed and other gestures while I was speaking on the agenda. Almost every meeting for several months. I never said anything. If he wants to make himself look like a fool, that's fine. But the problem is, it's like developing a hate campaign. Other people start doing it, and I want to know, Steve, why you did not bring the meeting to order, why you never said a word to Bob Best. Why? You have these meetings. You have these ground rules. Why did you never use them on Bob Best? Was he not being disrespectful? I never said anything until it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. Laughing. like that. Answer my question, please, Steve.
I do not remember what took place 3 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, and you do remember. It had happened every month, and I can show people, I will show people. You're not going to answer that question. Is that right?
I'd have to review the tape.
No. You know about it. You know about it, and I want an answer today. Okay, you're not answering that question. I got it. That was a violation of 311. Okay, next. On another meeting, Bob Best threatened to knock my camera out of my hand, which my wife claims was a threat of willful malicious property damage. Why did you not take any action, being that part of your job is to bring the order as a chair at the meetings? You don't remember, right? Is that right? Answer my question, please.
Oh,
You're not going to answer the question. That's two questions you didn't answer. Okay. At another meeting, Steve Edgerly recently, he took up on the ridicule himself. While I'm speaking on the agenda, he's laughing, holding his man, making gestures and everything. That was only a couple of months ago. I can dig that one up easy. I can dig them all up. I've got videos of every one of them. Why did you not do anything on that meeting? No questions answered, huh? I had to endure that. I had to endure all of that crap along with your racist remarks every single meeting for 5 years. You don't remember that either, huh? I even remember on one of the meetings before the Zoom started, I went up to the board and I said, my name is pronounced Sahagian. Please don't do that again. You did it time and time again. Why did you do that? I know why you did it. It's all right. Okay? So these are violations of number 314. Now, one more question. At the last meeting or the meeting before, when the ground rules were initiated and everyone seemed to have known about it, and it was like they were going to make sure you and give me a minute to breathe. You and Waterman both came at me with everything you had. Waterman said, when I was having a conversation with Denise, I said, I didn't like that Steve was muting me. She goes, he did not mute you. And I said, he did mute me, and I was going to go on to say there was a notice on my screen. The host muted you. And so Jerry said, no arguing, move on, shut me right up. Okay. Now, I want to tell you something, Jerry. Arguing is a legal term. It's how court battles are fought. I am taking this select board to court because you won't fix a culvert, but by law you should have, so I had to take you to court to do it. We are going to argue that case. Maybe you can tell the judge, no arguing, judge. We don't argue. Arguing is very real in a constitution. Our Constitution was created arguing. However, I understand that being unruly and out of order is not. But arguing is mandatory. It's legal. It's what we do. Steve Barrett wants to shut everybody up so they can't speak about anything. And I resent that. Okay, the next thing, one more thing. At the next to the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, at that same meeting, you all came out and made sure you beat me up with your new ground rules. Steve said, I asked Steve why I have been put on, I'm not really put on the agenda. I asked to be put on the agenda every time, but all of a sudden I show it comes up on other people or whatever you call it. And at this time there was 2 other people. I was only allowed to talk for 2 minutes. And he shut me up and got rid of me on that. And here's what happened. I asked Steve why I only got 2 minutes. I wanted to be on the agenda, and I wasn't put on the agenda. I want you to explain why that when I asked to be on the agenda, I'm not treated like everybody else, like the Broadband people. They asked to be on the agenda. You put them on the agenda, but you didn't put me on that agenda. Instead, you said, be respectful, and then you blew me off. You didn't answer my question. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? I asked you that question. I want that question answered today. It seems that VSA 311 is something you just don't you don't do. He doesn't go by the Constitution. I read you the laws. This scapegoating trip is bad, and it's going to end today, and I'll tell you how it's going to end. My wife, for instance, 2 years ago, said, you got to quit. They're getting too aggressive. I had heard from a body member they were going to burn my house down. Isn't that nice? And then I got all these other threats. Steve Barrett has threatened me himself initially when I started. And she felt, and we get these heroes that come in almost every so often. They'll come up and harass me, like I just explained, and Steve doesn't bring the meeting to order. He encourages it. He doesn't bring the meeting to the order. It's okay to disrespect Barry because we have differences possibly, or because I talk about the laws. So what do you think, Steve? Tell me a reason why I shouldn't file a complaint tomorrow and bring us all back in here. And another thing, is this behavior going to continue? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Having someone come in and give me a hard time, you say nothing. And in that sense, you are encouraging them. And they know it. They all know it. They know they can go up and give me a hard time, and they will gain respect from you for doing so. Is this the way you treat a taxpayer? Is this the way you treat somebody that is a citizen? What's your problem? Answer my question. Is this going to continue?
No, it is not.
Okay, so if someone comes in, like the insurance man, if the insurance man comes in and calls me an idiot out of the blue, when I wasn't even, you're going to say, you're out of order, you don't behave like that at these meetings? You didn't do it. Remember that, Robert? After I finished my my agenda, he said, he's an idiot. I said, I wasn't even talking to him. I barely even know him. I don't know him, just for 1 or 2 times he's come here. But he knows he can get away with that because you encourage it.
I can't.
I'm not gonna take this anymore.
We cannot control other people's actions.
Oh yeah? It's funny, Steve controlled my action when I asked the question. He told me, what about you? No arguing, move on. What was that? You mean you can't tell somebody, okay, so it's okay. You're saying it's okay to call somebody an idiot at one of these meetings and you won't do anything. Jerry, you're an idiot. Steve, you're an idiot. It's okay, it's okay.
Can I
You
say
can't
something,
control.
Jerry, can I say something?
Sure, go ahead, Denise.
As I recall that meeting with the insurance man, and I did the attorney did watch that video, and she made a comment on that. Steve did say, after he said something, Steve did say, let's move on. As I recall, Steve did say that was not acceptable. And
I never said it was not acceptable. I never heard that.
am I being interrupted?
No, you're obfuscation. You're doing an obfuscation. That's what it's called. Confuse and, like.
And so she said that you can't say, you don't know what people are going to say until they say it. You can't read people's minds.
But you can react to it, Denise. You can say, that's the wrong thing to do at this meeting. We don't allow that. We have ground rules, and we insist that people are. No, Denise, it's a done deal. I'm not taking this anymore. If you're going to continue, as Jenny Prosser has told me over and over, and I want you to hear this because it's important. If you feel as if your constitutional right has been violated, you have the right to file a complaint. And if it isn't resolved, you have a right to take it to court, superior court, not small claims, because it's taken seriously.
Yes.
So I'm not going to take this crap anymore. I see Edgerly over there laughing. I'm going to stop the meeting cold. And Steve's response is that is one time he said, I am attacking the meeting, or I'm disrupting the meeting. I am reacting. I come here every time with content, important content about laws. Open meeting, I'm informed, I do work. And I have a right to be here without being ridiculed, without being shut up, and also as blocked too. I got an open complaint where Steve put me out of the meeting for 20 minutes because he didn't like what I was talking about. So I am from here on, since you're so stern and strict with your ground rules, I'm going to be to the letter on the law. I know the open meeting laws almost by heart, most of them. If you do anything that I feel is violating my rights, you can count on a complaint the next day, and there will be a complaint on tomorrow. I have a beautiful video of that, and I get a time stamped and everything, and so you can deny it all you want. So we're coming back next week, and possibly another time this month. I've had it. I have taken too much crap, and it's like a gangbang, all of you together, and anybody that comes in, and I can't take it. I deserve to be treated with respect as well. Do you understand? No one thinks about that. All you think about is shut them up. We don't want to comply to the law. We don't want to hear laws. Well, you're going to hear them. All you serve to do with that ground rules that were basically created to give me a hard time is made me want to use my constitutional rights even more. For a while, I was backing off on the complaints because I know it's a pain in the neck. Everyone has to show up. So keep it up, Steve. I don't care what you say. And by the way, 2 more legal terms I want to tell you about, then I'm done. Okay, here's what they are. A subterfuge. These are legal terms. It's like Steve thinks he's fooling everybody when he plays all these games. Subterfuge is a concealed plot to elude, escape, undermine, or deceptively oppose another. Deceit and confusion. That one's got Steve's name all over it. And there's another one. Obfuscate. And these are legal terms, and people know about them. Everyone thinks they're so brilliant they can do things, and it wasn't me or whatever, like you can't be responsible for mind reading. I don't care what your lawyer says. Your lawyer is paid by you. She tells you what you want to hear. Okay, obfuscate, to be evasive, unclear, or confusing. And that's a lot of things. I find that with Denise many times. As a matter of fact, you know, I'm this water committee, we're not getting any transparency on that. I want transparency. And Denise, I'll tell you this, and that's over. I have asked you for documents several times. Now, what you give me for documents are ledger items. I do like ledger items. A ledger item, for those who don't know what's going on, is just a number with a description. Spent money on water. You know, that would be a ledger. So, however, a journal tells you who did the work, the invoice, how many hours was spent, and the details, a journal. So informal accounting, bookkeeping, there's a ledger and there's a journal. Denise, I asked you for Glover. You had $500 you spent with Glover, and you gave me a ledger entry. $17 on June 7th, $26. I need to know what you spent the money on precisely. Not that I don't trust you. I just want you to verify what you spent the money on. I have the right, and I'm asking you to do that from now on. Have Glover give you an itemized. I won't go in the past, in the future from now on, because I like to look at numbers. And you know, why not? It's a healthy thing to do in a select board to see what the money's being spent for. So I'm asking you to please just ask her to give you an itemized receipt. Now, one of the things I want to know is going on. I'm seeing all this money go out, and I don't know what's going on. Is the asset management program. I don't want to know what it is. I know what it is, but I want to see exactly what they did, what they were working on, what equipment, and how many hours they spent on it, and what they're getting paid, how they're getting paid. That's routine. That's why I want to get numbers, Denise. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just asking you to be 311 accountable, so I know, because I take the time to tell people what's going on my website and live broadcasts, and that's what I need. And do you think you could do that for me? When I ask for it, just don't give me a set of numbers. That really tells me nothing. You could never pull that with the IRS. They would never accept that. They wouldn't do it. You got to tell them what you spent it on, precisely. And I don't know whether you keep journals or it's just numbers. And many times it's an acronym, so you don't even, you get very little information. You know what it is, but how do we know what it is? Or maybe no one looking. But I'm looking now, and that's what I want to do. I want to have my contribution to this town is the laws and transparency. But I'm having a hell of a time with transparency. No one wants to tell me nothing. And no, Denise, you've been cooperating a lot lately. I take that back. You've been doing fine. But that one thing, I'm not picking on you. I think it's mandatory. In bookkeeping, you got to have a ledger. You got to know what you spent the money on, not just the amount and the date. I don't mean to insult you, and this is not my objective. My objective is to reinforce transparency, learn myself. I'm here to learn what's going on in this town. Why not? Isn't that what it's all about? And teach, learn and teach. Teaching is learning. All right, I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Northeast Kingdom Broadband establishing hotspots for Wi-Fi, and we have Wendy here.
Wendy, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Got it. And Cameron, I would really appreciate your input.
Yeah,
We've been having conversations through email, Cameron and David Galley and I, about this topic. Cameron had some really great thoughts, and David's not able to join us, I guess. I'm not sure.
He came in yesterday. I thought he was going to, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we also have another meeting tomorrow for NEK Broadband. Anyway, Dave's been great about checking in about potential businesses that would allow us to have the hotspot, because thinking that sort of near more where I live, over near Collins Mill Road on Route 100, is a bit of a desert for Wi-Fi. It's also for cell service, actually, but the trucking companies weren't interested. And I understand having people in their parking lot when you're running a trucking company could be a liability. I think probably the best case scenario is what Cameron was suggesting to us, and what we had discussed was the town garage. And I think there was some, also it would be helpful for the solar array. Is that right?
That is correct. Right now, the solar system reports to the, what do they call it, the router that is in the town garage, and it's very sporadic because it's too far away.
Oh, I see. So if we had, so it would be beneficial there.
It would be.
I didn't realize until I had talked to Dave that the school is a hotspot already. And my thinking was, and Dave's was as well, that there's too much of a good thing in one area. But Cameron and I were discussing that it actually hasn't been that great for connectivity there for him when he's tried it. As well, I started thinking, well, we certainly wouldn't want a lot of people parking at the school during school hours. It's a safety issue for the kids, both by just presence of, unauthorized adults, but also there's a carbon monoxide. If it's cold and people are running their cars, you can't have fumes around kids. You can't have fumes around a school building. So I think it really makes sense to have the town garage. Also, that there needs to be a contact person near the Wi-Fi hotspot, and I prefer it not be me. And so Denise, I'm hoping that you don't mind. I gave them your email and phone number, I think, or I gave them some information. Rob Fish, whom I spoke with on the phone, said it was okay to just fill out the survey right as soon as I could, and we could fine tune the information needed to make it more precise and,
I just wondering, has anybody talked to Mike Bayraw, the road guy, about people parking at the town garage and where they would park? And,
that's a good point.
Yeah, in the winter, we got trucks going out of there at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I just didn't know if anybody had talked to him. We got school buses that park up there.
Oh, I hadn't talked to him at all.
Okay,
I still thought Fred was the road commissioner, so you can tell how up to date I am on that.
No, actually, Mike is here right now.
Oh, hi. Hey, neighbor.
He's just camera shy, but he's sitting right here.
Oh, okay. Well, can we ask him about it now?
Yeah, I just messed up my meeting here. Okay.
You would kind of just need to designate a parking area for it, because people randomly parking around the town garage is very troublesome.
Right.
You never know what they're up to. We have that anyways, but they're not like being invited. If you have a hotspot, it'd be like inviting them, and we really don't need people around the garage, because you never know who's trying to break in and who's not, and that sort of thing. So designate.
Would that be a possibility though, to designate? I don't know how you would, rope it off, or what would, something like that.
Well, and it's there's a lot of people use that whole parking area, with the ball field in the summertime, and
right.
There is a fair amount of traffic there already. I have no objections to if you want to have them over by the ball field, but in the wintertime, that's where, of course, snow, it's, and we don't need people filling the buses parking spots when the buses are gone.
Right, absolutely. So I guess, is there money for signage or some sort of way to designate this parking?
How much traffic do you think you'll see there?
I don't know. Cameron, maybe you have a better idea about this. As far as...
I mean, I think everybody so far has brought up valid points on, having a lot of cars parked there and people parked around the garage, like Mike was saying, and you don't know who's going to be there. But I mean, that's kind of inherently going to happen if you have a public hotspot. The point of the thing is to try to get people internet service. And I know there's some negatives to it, but you really have to put it somewhere where you're going to have access to some sort of internet service provider that's going to provide a decent amount, or else it's not worth it, a decent bandwidth. So I think right there's already, Comcast service. So I mean, if Xfinity's already there and we can use that internet service provider for this new tech that they want to put in for a hotspot, it's going to give a lot more people a better access to a much better internet than if you just put it in some random remote area that has either Consolidated or some other company that's just such a low speed internet that if 3 or 4 people came to jump on it, it would be useless. So I understand the negatives to it, but I think there's a lot of positives to it as well. If we could find a way to designate a parking area for it or something, that's just kind of where I stand with it.
Well,
yeah.
I think we could do that. It's just what I'm asking is roughly an idea of how many people would be using it and the length of time. Being in an area like we are, we're not in a heavy populated area. Do you think that there's going to be a lot of people using this and for a long time, or what?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Well, I guess the only point of comparison our town would have would be how many people go to the school. You know, I didn't even know that the school was a hotspot. I had checked hotspots, and for some reason, my search it didn't come up. But after Dave told me, I finally found the right, little colored dot on a map that represents the school. I mean, how many people are actually there? And I don't know. When I worked at the school, the internet was really rotten. It ruined my lesson plans so many times.
Still rotten.
Yeah. So obviously,
I guess-
if it's a designated hotspot, it's a rotten spot. Sorry.
I guess that what I'm saying is I don't feel that there probably would be a big usage on it and for long amounts of time. So it wouldn't be like 20 people sitting there doing it because we don't live in an area where that would happen.
Right. And no, not 20 for certain.
No,
I'm thinking
think no.
5 max.
Yeah, I think at one time, yeah, you might have 3 or 4 vehicles maybe at one time. I just think it's going to be if somebody that lives in an area that's not serviced by anything reliable, if they need to do something in today's modern age with everything with Zooms and all that, if somebody needs something that they need an important internet connection, they're going to go use it. But I don't see it being 20 cars packed in there trying to use the internet. I think you're probably maybe at the most at one time you might see is 3 or 4 cars. Other than that, I think it's just going to be the here and there people popping in to use it when they need to.
About the recycling center instead then.
Because it's on the main road, I don't know. I don't really see a big problem that I live across the street from the town guard. I don't see it, and I see cars there all the time, and I don't see a big problem with it. And if it became a problem, then I think we'd have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I Wendy, if I can just interject. So
Sure.
I know right now because there's Xfinity service there that I can pull in there right now. It's a hotspot for me because I'm an Xfinity customer. So I can use its Xfinity Wi-Fi. It's like every person that has Xfinity, it sends out 2 signals on your router. It's a private signal and a public signal. So I could go there right now and use it. And I mean, even with that, I mean, I don't think you say you live across the street. I don't think you see that many people going in there.
No.
This would just be the Wi-Fi spot that they're talking about would be like a special hotspot that's designed for people that are sitting in vehicles. So it's a little stronger strength, and it would just give a little bit faster of an internet than what you're getting off of the public line from a private router. It's just going to be a better one, but I don't think you'll see a huge uptick in people stopping there.
Yeah. Okay.
And if it's something that, we could get started, and then if there's a problem, just try to tweak it. I mean, I'm thinking the tweaks would be a sign to say, park here only, or please do not leave any trash, or something,
Well, I don't know what you guys say. I think you guys need to work with Mike and probably give it a try.
Okay. As far as signing up, I've done the survey, and I'm happy to do some of the contact, as far as, just saying, okay, it's been approved. But as far as when they get in working, I wouldn't be able to visit the site or volunteer anymore. My mother just moved in with me for 5 days a week that I'm sharing with my brother, and my time has suddenly changed
Well, you've got some other people to help you, so.
extremely.
if
And I know
I live right up the road. I live right off of Vance Hill, so I'm nearby.
So, I think you need to work with Mike and go from there and make it work.
So, Cameron, you feel like you'd be able to be a contact person?
Sure.
Oh, wonderful.
So you'll
That's
get
great.
together with Mike, DJ?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll be in touch because Denise, because I gotta get a ATV sticker from you anyway, so I'll be in touch next week.
Okay.
Is that it, guys?
I guess so.
All
I
right,
guess so.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to ATV update on trail on Class 4 road by Cook's Brewery and Petite Land. And I see Chris Donovan's in there. You got anything on this, Chris?
Just Rudy and a clan of people went and got all the signatures that they needed to all the landowners that are on the piece of Class 4. The reason we need the documentation back is they're going to submit that to VASA because there's some upgrades that needs to be done to the Class 4. So normally we do it verbally with you guys or whatever, but the documentation is there so they can submit it, and there needs to be quite a bit of work done to it to be used. So,
And that work, if approved, should be done through Mike because Mike has charge of the road. So discuss things with him.
yeah, I've talked to him briefly about it.
Okay.
In weeks ago, we were discussing different alternatives and trails while we were discussing the signs actually for Pogany Hill and stuff. He said we're in. So
Okay. Okay. Do you guys have any input?
I have a question.
Okay.
Chris, that's the same road that goes partly through Coventry, correct?
yes.
Did the Coventry Select Board have to authorize that use of that road?
It's already been done. We were the last piece of the pie,
Okay.
which I almost believe that it's gonna. I almost think they're coming down the Skidoo Trail anyway on that end, but Coventry's road's part of it's open anyway, so.
Good.
So it's gonna come down the old Skidoo Trail and cross the road and go out behind Tangways and toward the Coventry side, so.
Okay. You have anything?
And-
Nope, I'm good.
And I'm hoping it's gonna play into the traffic going away from Pogany Hill. So I'm hoping it's gonna help on that end of it also, so. And I did, as an update, I did look at the app on my phone, and all of that stuff is off from the app. The Sloan Trail, all that is all not there anymore. So there won't be any mix-ups there. So
And there's gonna be signage up there as well, right?
yes, I discussed the signage with Mike. He said the prison finally came through with it. They're a different color than we had talked, but they still look good, he said. And we discussed where to put them. Steve and I had talked about, where they should go. So I touched base with him, and he was going to run up and install them when he got a minute. So.
Well, I was still unsure where you wanted the one on Pogany Hill. I was going to discuss it with the board here a little later.
Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. Cause yeah, exactly. Wherever, you guys think it should go right there by Allen. So. So that's all I got.
Do you guys need to make a motion for this or just approve it or what, guys?
I believe probably make a motion to approve it, right?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we add the two parts of the Class 4 road that are in Newport Town to the ATV trail network.
And I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it.
So do they?
I appreciate. I thank you. What's that?
Do the guys need to sign these forms anywhere?
Yeah, just like the permission ones. Just sign the bottom of it, and I'll take copy so they could submit it.
Okay, just anywhere on the bottom, Chris?
Yeah, right on the bottom where they sign the yearly one.
Okay,
Okay?
Perfect.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you,
Chris.
Chris.
Thank you.
Water, sewer, solar panel update. HS well, 1 well update. Mike?
Waiting for me, huh?
Just find the bottom.
Yeah. Hold on.
Mike, one of the, oh, there he is.
Yeah,
We're on water and sewer.
Yeah,
Yes.
water, sewer update.
Okay,
Uh,
Denise had a little communications with A&E about HSA one. Jason Booth proposed we get a second opinion, like have another well company come in and look at it, see if they can pull it, or what they think maybe need to hydrofrack it, because apparently that's the quickest alternative to getting another well.
Mike, we can only hear about every third word you're saying. Sorry.
So, I don't really know if you wanna go down that route. I really didn't wanna waste money at that dry hole. But,
How many gallons was that whole company?
7, 8 at best. A minute. I just, I can call Tri-State or Chevalier and they can come up and we can give them a couple, 3,000 to tell us, well, can't pull it, maybe we can drill through it, and then the thing is dry to, right now it won't pump water.
Question.
It's never been a good well, but, yep, go ahead, Steve.
I just, A&E says you can hydrofrack them and then pull the pump out.
No, they can drill through that pump if they can't pull it, apparently. Maybe that's what that sounded like. So, I don't know, they have to drill it to a bigger casing, and it ain't gonna be cheap.
No.
And then there's, if we hydrofrack it, it's right next to HSA 2, we're gonna just steal water from the other well.
True.
So, I don't know if we need to hire a hydrogeologist that's how we worked with 6 and 7. We had Jeff Hoffer we put the ball in his court to figure out what we need to do. And if you don't want to invest in this well, I think that's what we have to do again.
We're getting along good without that well,
We're doing fine, yes.
and it's
we need-
supposedly a dry year.
Yeah. Well,
Supposedly.
I don't know, I can't mow my lawn.
Me either.
I can't either, no.
I think we need to look into the well that we have behind the reservoir. Wow. Yeah, we've got some other issues we gotta deal with there too.
I would like to see a conversation happen with Hoffa.
okay.
I would.
Yeah.
He steered us pretty good on the other
Yep.
two.
Yeah. And still, we're supposedly getting this money that the government's dishing out,
Yeah.
800 and something thousand, and what I had heard was it was supposed to be used for water, sewer, like cars.
Yeah.
And if we got that, it would be a big help to us.
Yes.
Infrastructure is the word.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
If that money shows, that'll
if that money shows.
be nice.
There's a lot of things we could do.
What I had was water. We're hoping maybe.
So do you guys want Mike to get hold of Jeff Hoffer?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of the month, we can do our water line project. We're just waiting for drier ground, and
now you planning to do it all?
I want to.
I think it's the thing to do. We have the pipe, and if we're doing it by the hour, I don't think it's gonna cost us that much in the end, and
I
just do
don't
it.
either.
It'll be in there. What do you guys think?
I agree.
think it's,
I agree.
I agree.
we've got a little bit of a cushion to do it with, from what Denise says, so I think we need to get it in there, because you said you got a little leak, and
Oh, yeah.
you're thinking it's down there and can't find it, so let's fix it.
We're gonna go for it as soon as we can. That's what we had on water and sewer. Beavers are back down below the sewer plant, so I had the excavator wreck that again this week. My inspection was supposed to be Wednesday, but he decided not to come in the rain, so now it's Tuesday. Other than that, so it's pretty good.
Okay.
That's all I had on those things.
The solar panels, they seem to be doing their thing, so.
Good.
So I guess we'll move on to road commissioners report.
Lots of stuff here. I mentioned that plow to you. I showed it to Danny Gay. I haven't seen Mario. The
Yeah.
price of steel is over double.
Yeah.
So rebuilding it of any sort is just gonna be way too much money. Danny thought maybe he could get a couple excavators and hold it and straighten it, but that seemed like a crapshoot. He was gonna think on it, get back to me. He hasn't. I got a price on a 1-year used one from Viking for 4,900 and a new one's 6,700. Looking at my budget, I have plenty of money to purchase it right out of my budget. I think I'll be fine on the rest of it because we didn't really wear out a lot of blades this winter. So I was just gonna ask you what you thought.
I say purchase one.
That's it.
If you can get that for 4,900, sounds like a good deal.
I got pictures of it. It's 1 year used.
Yeah, it can't be that
Somebody
hurt that
wouldn't
bad.
like it, but
Yeah.
it's a Viking plow. It's actually the high discharge, like the Tenko that we got.
Can we scrap the other one for scrap metal?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other use for it.
Well, that's
Even
what I'm
the
getting at.
Viking,
Well, you could always ship it in a trade.
but that's
But
shady.
They know that's what they're getting.
Yeah,
You
that's
just tell
shady
them that's
business
what they're
if we
getting.
don't tell them.
Well,
And-
yeah, you gotta tell them.
Yeah, because
But there's probably some parts of it we could
Oh, yeah.
use.
for sure, it's the best looking plow besides the new one from the Tenko out there.
The barrel's the only thing that's really bent, so the.
And well, the
frame-
framework behind it's bent too. That's
Oh,
why
well,
it's,
then it's not very good.
we can steal shoes and stuff, but.
Yeah.
The crushers came and have left. They made us about 8,000 yards on last year's price, so that's a good thing. Where the 6,000 will probably be on last year's price, 6,300. So we got a good start. I ordered culverts from Contact. They got the state pricing. They're out of Massachusetts. I ordered about $9,000 worth, roughly. I'm not sure what the shipping's gonna cost. Around here, the price was double. I bought aluminized for $21.90 a foot, which is supposed to be 3 times the lifespan of galvanized, which we typically use galvanized. And the price for galvanized that from Westcott was $42-3 a foot. So I don't know what my timeline is on receiving them. And on that note, just checking some of the culverts on the city farm road, which we'll get to. We're hoping to pave that with this money we got. Some of them are 12 inches.
They need to be upgraded to 18s.
That's what I thought.
But if they're good and still working, we can leave them.
There's not much water there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to weigh your opinions.
Yeah,
Um,
if they're all good, leave them. If they're not humping and making a mess, but if you ever do change them, you should upgrade to at least an 18.
That's the standard now,
Yeah,
but there are
that's the
12s
standard.
in there. There's very little water flow where the 12s are,
As long as we're not having a problem, I say leave it as it
because
is.
it'd be better for the asphalt.
Yeah.
It's already compacted. Okay, that's, gravel. We have bush hog, 95% of the town, maybe 98% of the town. The bush hog has been around and brushed everything back. The only things left was the end of Hogging Hill, because Dwight didn't want us to do it, and he said he would do it himself. So if he don't, we'll be back up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question on the bush hogging that I participated in Green Up Day. And I didn't know if maybe in the future you could bush hog after Green Up Day. Because it was a little difficult picking up shredded aluminum cans and beer bottles tangled up in the brush.
Yeah, we can. I really like doing it now because the bush hog could see the stones, and
But
they
I-
should push Green Up Day to April 20th.
I would say that we probably won't have to bush hog much for a while.
But
few
I
years.
do intend to run it just to keep it
Yeah.
from getting big. So yeah,
But it should be a lot less.
well, that's it. The majority of the big stuff should be gone.
Your
There-
machine will take a twisted tea can.
Oh,
and
Yeah. make it into a lot of pieces.
And that, one other question before we get to the big things. The Buzzell Road to Leadville, there's a class 4 section through there. I mentioned last meeting, the guy at the end of the Leadville Road didn't like cars turned around in his yard. Conferring with my father, to his knowledge, the class 4 road is where we turn around, which would mean we'll never have to worry about not turning around there, and he can't have a complaint about cars. The other question on that is, on the end of the Buzzell Road, he's got it cabled and locked off. To anybody's knowledge, has anybody given him permission to do such thing?
Nope,
Because that is a class 4 road.
nope,
through.
not that I
So
remember.
that should be removed.
Yeah.
Okay,
He has no right to do that.
No,
I think it's probably, my father thought it wasn't locked, but I walked over to it and it is locked, because,
does it show it as a class 4 road on our map?
yes.
Yeah, then no, you can't.
I certainly believe it does. I was told it was.
I guess possibility that you can do that, because there is another place in town that has a gate, but there's supposed to be a key here for anybody
Which
that
there
wants to go.
That was my thing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Which there is, but, and this fella does own all the land there, but if somebody wanted to drive up through there to access the other road legally,
yeah,
he
they
can.
can.
Somebody, Cameron has his hand up to speak.
Go ahead, Cameron.
I just wanted to add in there that I do work for the Border Patrol, and we've tried to go up there, and that the owner of that land has been informed that he's not supposed to lock that because people are supposed to have access. And he seemed, how can I say, rather indifferent to what our opinion was on him not being allowed to lock it. So that may be something that, as the town, you guys might have to press a little bit harder with it. But we did tell him that because it's a class 4 road on the map set, he's not supposed to have it locked. It never used to be. But when that guy bought it up, he wanted to more restrict access to that land. So he ended up locking it, much to our, dismay. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
The other gate that is locked, it's a dead end. This one connects to class 3 highways.
Is that something you can
Cameron
speak with him
Thompson.
I will
about?
try.
And if it
He's the one I
doesn't
talked to that started
mature to
getting involved.
anything, then we will write a letter and
I don't know,
send it
he
to him.
gets involved in talks.
sound all right, guys?
Yeah.
Or,
No, I had just why
Yeah.
did you let,
Now,
you
the
know,
next thing, I got a couple of prices
but
on
it
pickup,
happened just a
but
week
that
ago.
was the state
Edgerly
pricing.
laughing in the background. I goes, why don't you bring
There
up a meeting
is
to
no
order then?
pickups
I said,
available.
but you brought,
September,
I
October.
told him, is this behavior gonna continue? I said,
I just
is this
throwing
continue,
it out
gonna
there,
continue
Gary,
this
after a couple of
behavior?
You have a
That's
plow?
if we ordered it now.
That's if we ordered it.
Nothing.
Do you
that
have a
we'd be
plow on the
interested in.
truck you have now?
Yes, but it's very old. It was on,
Okay, so-
it was on the truck
Why?
before.
And are we trading that one in?
That's all right.
I didn't get into that. I figured I'd feel you guys' temperature again. I was thinking we'd throw it on Craigslist like we did the tractor and we'd have
Okay.
much luck with that.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to hassle with that. That's
It's
what
all right,
I'm.
as long as we go
think
early.
Yeah.
Well, with this pricing,
Saturday?
they're good,
Yeah,
Right.
early
Well,
is
that's a
early.
great-
No
That,
one-
that's a state contract.
but there's no plow or sander with that.
No.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
We'd have to look at that after.
Let's go
Yes.
tomorrow.
That's what I said.
And
Yep.
I would favor the Ford looking at the specs,
About 30, 40.
because it was less money.
Yeah,
Had a
what do you want,
locking,
30 or 40?
electronic locking
Yeah,
rear
I can do it.
differential, which is easier on rear tires.
I'll use that.
And it had remote start and a 34-gallon gas tank,
Yeah, you can
which
use
the
the card.
GM did not
That's all,
have.
no more than that. I want.
How you feel about Ford?
I'm indifferent. Doesn't matter to me.
Right, whatever we get you, huh?
That was my thing. Other than that, they were like,
We have had pretty decent luck with this GM as far as reliability issues.
The Fords in plowing, are they good? Are they,
I don't plow.
no, I know you don't plow, but you work on vehicles, and I didn't know if you've worked on
Not
plow
very,
trucks and,
not very many Fords.
okay,
I do a lot of GM gas tanks, sending units,
yeah.
rusting out. I did one.
Now, Rick had said something earlier, he came in and just said something, and he said something about possibly like a 2-ton or 2.5-ton, would you be,
1 ton.
or 1-ton,
1 ton.
accessible to that? Or this is practically close to a 1-ton.
Well, it's a, yes.
They have a whole list of stuff that you can get on state pricing. I did speak with a Clark salesman about, like, they have what they call a CV. It's an international, but it's really a Chevy Duramax
I can't have one.
diesel, of course. But the price
Come here, puppy.
was, like 65,
Oh, she's
70,000. And
high.
time you
Huh?
put a plow
She
and
must
a
have
body
fi-
on
you don't
it,
think she'd
you're
find
into
that?
the hundreds.
I'm just throwing it out there.
And she knows what
But
it smells and tastes like, so I
Want you
would
to get
consider
what
that
you
gone.
want. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Economically-
just throwing it around.
One of them
If
with a
she
nice
smelled
new
that on the floor,
beef
it would be
tractor
wrapped
plow
up.
of some sort for a few thousand. I
If
think
if it's a F.
Yeah, that
250,
probably
you
happened.
can probably
That sounds
get,
like it.
What, 9-foot plow?
we have a 9 on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But
And a solid stander in the back, I don't feel it's really a necessity. I salted everything with the Western Star this winter. It turned sharp. I really didn't have much issue.
I just was looking at a lot of these short streets.
It
doing
would be
with that.
easier with that, but
Would be definitely.
I was thinking the corrosion from just, you're gonna have some spillage and then you gotta constantly clean it out we don't
It's something to
have.
look at, down the road. So what do you guys think? Should we let Mike order one?
If he wants one and we have the money, I don't have a problem.
Denise, do we have the money?
She's
We
gone.
lost Denise?
We lost her.
Was this on
Yeah,
the
I don't know where she is. Well, Mike knows what's in his budget.
I believe there is plenty of money in equipment,
Almost over?
Yeah.
but on a similar note,
Almost over.
from what I've
I hope
heard
so.
from the salesman, if we don't order a new 10-wheeler this fall, just order it. We won't have it until next fall, unless we go with an international, which they're like a dime a dozen. You get them pretty quick. But and I'm not asking for one, but for next winter, we're really gonna, that Freightliner's getting to the end of its lifespan with the body. The truck itself's pretty good, but the body's really in better days.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I just wanted to throw that out there that we're gonna start looking this towards fall. They told me I better do it before snow flies, just get the order in. And then by next fall,
Okay, you know what the funds are and plan ahead.
Which
accordingly.
rig would you want?
I'm completely indifferent.
No, you're the one that's gonna run it. And I know $2,000 is $2,000, but and like Steve said, there's some good points there, but it's still the person that's driving it is the one that,
If we can save $2,000, I don't mind driving it for. It doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Ford's a pretty good rig. I've
I
had them in the past.
didn't see the gallon gas tank in the GM. Wasn't listed at all.
So,
Yeah.
So I didn't know how big a tank it had on.
yeah, I see they listed a 6.6 for the motor and the GM, and the Ford is like a 6.2.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
6.6 is only there because they put a heavy duty transmission in the GM, and the only way you can get that heavy duty transmission is on the 6.6 motor.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. It really, if you think the Ford will last better and be better on tires, because they're hard on tires.
Have you ever
Well-
used electronic? Yeah, you know, have messed in the trucks.
Yeah.
There's a button on the dash, you just pull it out and you got locking rear difference.
I'd like to obtain a motion, I guess, to let Mike buy a rig.
I'll make a motion that if Mike feels he needs a truck, that, I don't have a problem.
And I'll second that. He doesn't have a problem.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? There you go, bud.
And the state price is locked in, Mike?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think it's a contract price.
Yeah.
I think they got the funny thing is the guy's selling both Fords and GMs, but he calls from Chevrolet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they've had the contract with the Formula Ford because it used to be the same owners.
Right.
Moving on, get out of here. Paving.
Mhm.
All but guaranteed the next 200,000.
Have you got the okay on it yet?
He wrote the grant. The grant was supposed to be submitted. It won't be coming out until he said probably mid-June, 6 weeks. That'll be, the paperwork will be around to be signed. But he made it sound it's definite. But not to do it before July 1st, make sure you get the money.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to do this railroad crossing stuff as soon as we
Well,
can.
I got good news on that. It's a little weird. I submitted the price for the railroad crossing to Andy Blake, who works for the railroad.
Yeah.
And he submitted it to CP and they're willing to pay for it.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So that's
Good.
super. But Norman talked to Andy, and because part of that reason that price is so good for doing it is doing it for us. Norman wants to do it and bill us, and then we bill the railroad cross.
Will the railroad do that?
I thought that's what Andy told me this morning. They sounded fun.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just because we're getting such a good price from Pike because we're doing so much.
Yeah.
Right.
And if he rewrote it just for the railroad, his boss probably wanted the credit for more.
I'd say let's get it done. The sooner the better.
I'm gonna shim them up a little bit as soon as I get a dry day and graze it, making some asphalt just to
Okay.
make them better because they're not gonna come now till after July when that bid runs.
Get a big hole by me too.
I know. The hot mix seems to work a lot better than the
Yes,
cold mix,
yeah.
and it was so close to having hot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
I'd
don't
say-
really know if we have to.
Table the others until next meeting, maybe? Do we,
Well, till we can't do anything till we know we got the money.
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
we
we
don't want to
decide whether
spend
we,
334,000. Don't have it.
right.
Yes.
Almost.
Oh, yeah. Which that number will be like, that's 10,000 over what we'd have money for. Because we have 125. The Collins Mill Road little portion, the state, I'm really thinking they're gonna pay that.
Yeah, they will. They will. We
They've
can-
already marked it with paint behind the hole.
We can, and that bid just went out today.
Yeah.
So you'll know who the contractor is probably in 3 weeks.
I've
I
shaken
did
everybody
find that
down
out.
about fixing them holes for me. I've talked to every one of them.
Yeah.
And
That's
So
right
you-
at the entrance of Collins Mill?
Yeah,
Yes,
you
yeah.
probably could take
that's
that
like
off.
$1,700. It really works much, yeah. But, that would finish the crossroad, which we did half last year, and that would
Yes.
finish it to the railroad tracks. And then that would be done, and that would be the entire city farm road.
Yes.
From,
So could you guys make a motion that Mike can do this, providing that the state aid money comes through?
I don't think we have to at this point, Denise, until we know the state aid. We've kind of okayed to do the end of the lake road.
Yeah.
If the only thing we're looking at is the rest of it,
Can
if the money comes through.
but I don't know if he wants a signature on it, so that, because he said
Oh,
30
Lock
days
in the price, lock in.
to lock in what he gave us. If you can make it pursuant to
Yes.
the grant funds.
I guess that's a discussion we'll have to have with him. Have a discussion with him, and will make a motion that you can sign it if that's the case.
We can, yeah, let's do that.
Because
Okay, yeah.
we should know by the middle of next month or beginning of next month.
Eric
You know?
was submitting, I sent him pictures and he was submitting the
We
grant.
can't guarantee it, but it looks really good.
Yes,
He must know that if we're not gonna do it unless we get the state aid money.
Right,
yes.
So,
yeah. So,
Which we did that with that, for our road culvert project last year. I signed a contract with an engineer, but it was pursuant to us getting the grant, which
Yeah.
is just barely coming through.
I'll make the motion to give you permission to sign that after a conversation with Norman that we've had.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? There you go, bud.
Okay, last thing, I got them 2 signs for the railroad, for the ATV club, one to go on Clark Mountain, the other one was Hogging Hill. Would it be best up the Logan Road by like the parking area for that, or would it be better at the end of the Logan Road, or even on Hogging Hill Road,
I think on Hoggany Hill Road headed up.
right past the Logan Road?
Because basically, all the people that live up there will ride that to that point. And technically, they can still go with a permit, but we don't want it as a
Okay,
trail.
and I
So
can
I
get more
think
signs.
that is saying,
And the purpose for going up to Logan Road would be to just gain access to the park.
Yes,
yes,
well, that's why I didn't know,
but there shouldn't be anybody up there because they can't even use that.
But
Oh,
they
wait,
could-
in the park.
Yeah.
They can't go way through.
Right.
so if you think right above the Logan Road, it's fine by
I-
me. They're getting planted this week.
I would think, I mean, that's
Again,
stopping it from going up any further.
yeah, that, however,
Yeah.
I'm indifferent with them signs too. It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, check with Chris too. and
I
see-
mentioned it and he was kind
Yeah.
of, we just want
Chris
more
had
opinions.
talked to me about it, and I
Yeah.
just said if you put it at the beginning of each end of it, then it kind of accomplishes everything.
Right, that's
Okay.
that area.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just trying to appease everybody.
Yep.
It don't
Yep.
matter where I drive the post.
Okay. That works.
And that was it.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Anything for me?
There was one more thing under water and sewer. It wasn't on the agenda because we got the letter after. The
Oh.
agenda was done, but there was a letter from John Kilby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that you guys saw that.
yeah, we did.
Okay,
And I read it.
okay.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead, Ernest.
Yeah, okay. What's your opinion of that letter?
Well, I think we've already decided on what we're gonna do, and if there's 4 families or 3 families or 2 families in an apartment, it has to be done as different units. So that's the way it'll be charged.
Yeah, the rate structure's already been,
The rate structure's in, and we all agreed on it, the water committee agreed on it. Everything's the way it should be.
Done deal.
I
Go ahead.
did read the letter, and I understand his concerns and what he's talking about. But if there's something that needs to be done with challenging the rate structure, he needed to get a petition signed by 5% of the registered voters. And that did not come.
What was the letter, please? I mean, now that we're talking about it, I'm sitting here and there's a letter. Can you read it so everyone knows what it is and I can let the rest of the people in town know?
We have a letter from John Kilby. He's an owner of an apartment building over here by the underpass. And it reads, as you know, I have a 4-unit apartment building. I would like to point out to you that apartments are designed to be smaller and have less people in them than most houses. I designed my apartment building to be 2 bedrooms so that there would be less people. At the apartment building, at this time, there are only 6 people living there. 2 that work out of town and are gone most of the week or daily. I am sure you have many houses in town that have 6 or more people in them. Also, many of your houses are owned by older people who have 2 or 3, sometimes only 1. I believe that to charge each unit a meter fee at the apartment building is wrong and not fair. I believe with only 1 meter, we should be charged a meter fee, then usage the same as any house. I do not know how you are billing the school system. With this kind of thinking, you should be charging a meter fee for each classroom if you are going to charge apartment buildings. Also, bed and breakfast and other home-based businesses should also be charged. I know that you have many bills to pay. Also, that in the town of Newport, the charges are higher than many other towns. I have my apartment building on the market due to my declining health, and these high town rates have devalued my property. And if I do not sell now, I must do at a reduced price. I have 2 other places that have an electrical meter with multiple houses or buildings. We are charged a meter fee plus usage. as I strongly believe in your water system should be charged the same way also. I also realize that your sewer system is charged on a per unit basis due to the number of people in the apartment building. We do not put a lot into the sewer system, less water going in, less coming out. So I feel we are double charged for this for less usage. Also, when I interview tenants, I very much take in how many people would be in the apartment when I pick a tenant. Thank you, sincerely, John Kilby.
Thanks.
And when we looked at all this, and the water board looked at it, the fair way was the way we come up with, and it seemed to be fair to everyone. So that is why it was done that way. And as Steve said, if anyone wanted to challenge it, they needed to get 5% of the voters to come forward. And that hasn't been done at this time. Any more questions? Okay.
I just want to be on record to say that I oppose to that, and I agree with John Kilby.
Okay. Thank you, Ernest.
Okay, thank you.
The next item up is discuss townwide yard sale in town. I don't know what this is. Do you, Denise?
Yes, I do. I got an email from a resident in town and she said, Denise, can we look at the possibility of a townwide yard sale flea market sometime this summer where we could rent a table or two, perhaps at the school, the ball field, or the recycling center? Do you think this is feasible? And I emailed her back and said that I would bring it up to the board. I did mention it to DJ Glover, who, remember last year, she tried to get a farmer's market going, but it was really late in the season when she tried to do that. You guys had said that that was a good idea for her to, if she wanted to try to do that. She's in favor of this. She'd help get the word out for this. If we decided to do it at the ball field or whatever.
I don't see a problem myself, other than what does our insurance say? How would the insurance be covered if someone got hurt at this thing being on town land?
I do not know the answer to that.
That would be one of the things I think I'd want to have checked on.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times we need public safety presence, police presence or something if it gets real big. Is that something that would have to be done too? And who would pay for it?
Yeah, when we contacted them last year about the farmer's market, they did not mention any of that.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying I don't, anytime that you have something like that nowadays, everybody's so happy and this and that. If something happens, would our insurance have to cover it? Would they put something in that would cover it? How would that work? I think we need to find out.
Okay. I can call them on Monday.
And then, that townwide yard sale, a lot of towns have that, but they have it on their own houses. It's not like on the town property or something. They all the houses on a street or the whole, like the city, I think does it. They have a citywide yard sale. Everybody does it the same weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and they put out some sort of a map. I believe the city will put out like a map. Where all those people are.
And that I don't have a problem either, but Steve, you got something to say?
Yeah, in Newport City, if they do anything on the city land, they can get a rider on the insurance policy.
Okay, so that's
like for a day or something?
Yeah.
That's something we need to look into before I would agree to it. You guys got anything on that? Or?
I'm in agreement with you.
And who's going to organize this?
Yeah, and who's going to organize it? They're just looking for our blessing, right?
Right. She's just looking for our blessing, or your blessing, I should say. And I doubt that this lady would want to organize it, but DJ said that she would definitely like to help with this.
Until we know on the insurance, we could table it till the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is that all right with you guys?
Yep.
We got signing the orders and reviewing approved journal entries and bank statements. We've been doing that as we go. I don't think we need an executive session. Does anybody have anything? Do we have any unfinished or new business? Denise,
No.
anyone else?
No?
If that's the case, then I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.